Yo, what up? I'm finally sitting down. I'm so... Anyway, isn't it? I am looking up history of law and Christianity right now, amongst a few other things, where I'm sort of developing my search as I go. History of law, Christianity and law today, Summarize the Resurrection and Moral Order book by Oliver Donovan. Christianity and law. Where the fuck did I start? Christianity and morality. Christianity. What about history of morality and law? Oh, we've got a book. The People's History of Christianity. Who's this? Diana Butler Bass. Okay. Christian Ethics and Moral Philosophy. The Secret History of Christianity. See, I need to go into my phone and download these videos, so I'll listen to them. Dang, bro. Modern Reformation legislating morality. Because Christianity is like, we've got the superior, we are the ultimate. Let me just like Google something. So, is Christianity essentially saying we the best music, we the OG of, do you reckon Google's gonna understand what I mean? Grok might. Is Christianity essentially saying we the OG and superior model of morality? I just find it weird. Yes, in a foundational sense, Christianity asserts that its moral framework is not merely one option among many, but rather the superior model, because it is based on the unchanging nature of God, not shifting human opinion. I do think there is something to be said about the shifting nature of human opinion and shit like that, because people do get up, like culture does get up to some fucked shit, you know, like very easily. And I also even just think like observing like culture today, I think there's a strong argument to be said that like for like the increased secularization of society has perhaps brought about some pretty, I think you could point to that in the case of like mutilating and sterilizing children in the name of this sort of trans phenomena. And like, I'm not even like I wouldn't even say I'm like real cut and dry on that topic, but like when it comes to like the kids equation aspect of it, I mean like fucking let your kid wear whatever the fuck, let them grow out their hair, you know, like I don't care on like the surface level so much, but like when it comes to sort of compelled speech and shit, you know, like forcing, well, that's one thing, but I would say the more important factor is the mutilization and sterilization of kids. Like, I'm not on board with that. I mean, I can still appreciate some people's take on it, like, you know, like you're getting in there before, you know, it's a high stakes risk in that, like, if you get it wrong, that's really it, like you're in definitely criminal territory, you know, like, but then some people do report like, you know, enjoying their transition or whatever. So I don't know, it's a tricky one, but you know, like Christianity is like meh on that topic. They're real like fixed, like most Christian. It's one thing I really don't like about Christianity is like people get, it's like real group thinky. It was like, okay, you're a Christian, now you have to have this exact opinion on this issue, okay? And it's like, fuck, all right. You don't think, you can't appreciate a different angle of thought at all. Anyway, I just, Christianity, like, I can appreciate Christianity. Like I am deeply compelled by Christianity, but also I have a mind that tends to think about stuff, and that's where I then start to encounter challenges or just challenging areas or challenging periods with it sort of in the intellectual thinking space. I'm not even sort of like claiming it like I'm, and say I embark on a lifelong journey, and if it's all real, I hope I am indeed saved, because I can't be fucked. Who wants to be in eternal hell? Fuck that. Doesn't sound fun. But then some people are like, but like in the seriousness of hell, it's like, how's that ethical, bitch? How's a God good when there's fucking eternal hell, brother? That's real serious. It's fucking weird. That's a hard one to wrap your mind around. But it's God. So I can just suck it up and that's it. Yeah. Anyway, what have we got here? I'm trying to shadow over my screen. Yes, in a foundational sense, Christianity is sense that its moral framework is not merely one option among many. I'm just going to shut this door. I really should go for a walk, actually, before the sun starts fully dipping and shit gets too cool. Because I got a cold as well. But it's just like, it's so hard getting myself to sit down and like, a lot of time can elapse between, me sitting down and like actually writing something or actually like Googling something. Like it can be weeks. It's probably been weeks at this point. This isn't even a decent session, but it's, it's decent in comparison to when the last time I did it. It's like fucking days go by, weeks go by. It's like, brother, how hard is it to sit down and fucking write some shit? Like, or fucking look at something up, But my brain's like, So what's that about? Is that spiritual warfare? Is that fucking Satan in my brain? Is that Satan being like, I'm fucking trying to distract you because you're going to be like fucking saving too many people from hell? If I let you fucking look shit up on Google. This is fucking Christianity, isn't it? Spiritual warfare, bitch. No, maybe you're just... inverse syndrome, ADHD versus fucking lack of discipline. Yeah. Anyway, because it is based... Who's this? Someone saying something on one of my comments or something. Because it is based on the unchanging nature of God, not shifting human opinion. Yeah, but the problem is that it's actually kind of grey areas, and that's where a lot of the shifting human opinion is. I mean, not always, but kind of a little bit that in certain areas, yeah. However, this is not typically... This actually, filming me, actually keeps me kind of on task. So this is a technique. This is a tactic. Okay? This is a method. I have a cold, okay? Be repulsed. However, this is not typically framed as a human-to-human claim of being better but rather a claim that God's standards are the objective truth of the universe, saying you can't fuck anyone unless you're married to them, apparently. That's the objective truth of the universe, brother. Here's a breakdown of that position, the OG originator argument of God's nature. Source, not inventor. Christianity doesn't claim to have invented the concept of goodness, but that God is the source of it. Objective basis. While many moral systems are based on societal consensus, which changes, Christianity claims moral law is written on human hearts. And see, now this is where I reckon some of the technical grey area creeps in, because it's in with respect to like people being saved, and like the fact that most secular people behave in a good way without having to fucking go to church and read the Bible and believe in the Christian God and believe that Christ rose from the dead, etc., etc. Because like most people, you could argue, behave with the, God's moral laws written on humans' heart. Like, I feel like that's a technical grey space that you could argue in favour of, or there's a pushback space there, I reckon. Grey area, technical sort of like huss, and flows from the unchanging character of God. The Machine Manual, C.S. Lewis famously described Christian morality as directions for running the human machine. What do we do with the fucking robots though now? Suggesting that because God, this is also where I'm like, how is Grok or Elon Musk not banging into Christianity more? Because, he's like, I'm pursuing truth. And it's like, yeah, but fucking Jesus is truth. Surely your robot genius will be able to figure it out, Or can it not reason like that? Can it not work that out with all the fucking data online? Yeah. Saying directions for running the human machine, suggesting that because God created the machine, his manual is the definitive one. The superior model of argument, objective truth, transcendent authority. Christians argue that without God, morality is just subjective opinion. What? Christians argue that without God, morality is just subjective. Yeah, but a repentant pedophile can go to heaven, right? And then the person that he assaulted, if they don't recognise God, they go to hell. How is that fucking moral? How is that a superior morality model, right? In those kind of cases, I'm just like, big fucking question mark, bro. Big fucking question mark, hey. Christians argue that without God, morality is just a subjective opinion or social convention. I need to reread this again, sorry, because my brain just reads stuff and it doesn't fucking, it doesn't, I don't know what it does actually, just fucking, Christians, there's almost like no sense there. There's no sense making of the words that I'm reading. I can read them, but the sense is like, ephemeral. Christians argue that without God, morality is just subjective opinion or social convention. Christian morality claims to offer an objective standard, one that is true. This is where I real like going into the sexual space or talking about sexuality, sexual matters, with respect to this, because like, like a non-Christian person can be like, it's just like, it's interesting to think about, because Christianity is like, anything outside of a heteronormative marriage is sin, and wrong and bad, and but then like, and so it's like, at some level the Christian perspective is anything outside of that model is wrong, but then like, how do you scale for criminality? You know what I mean? Like, because like, a non-Christian person is like, cool, you guys can do you, that's nice, but like the only really wrong thing is when it actually gets criminal, you know? Like that's when it becomes a fucking issue. Or, you know, like, or, you know, you have lots of different fucking opinions and shit. You know, it's like, not everyone's into polyamory. Not everyone's fucking got a weird fetish. But like, you know, and people respect that to varying degrees or not, or get it to varying degrees. But like, you know, ultimately they don't really have a say in those people's lives unless it's criminal. But like, I don't know, like, but Christianity's just like, nah, you're all fucking yuck. You're all fucking wrong. If you have sex outside marriage, you might as well fucking be a pedophile cunt. Like, you're all fucking bad. You're all doing it wrong. No, not trying to make that, but you know, like a rational-minded person is like, no, they're not equivalent. But like at some level on the Christian thing, like if you're going outside of that marriage, heteronormative marriage model, you fucking, you get it wrong. You're getting an alert that you're going wayward, brother. But yeah, do you get what I'm trying to say or not? Like, I do think there's like interesting discussion to be had there. You know, like some cunts, like, it's like, so are you allowed a foot fetish in your heteronormative marriage or not? You know, and then like some people think fucking masturbation and like giving head is sodomy and shit, like even in marriage. I don't know. And then it's like, but what about sexual pleasure? And it's like, you know, like, because like a man more easily gets sexual pleasure than a woman. You know, like it's pretty common that women don't orgasm as much as men in sex, and so it's like, well, what about that? You know, it's not completely a non-issue. Maybe it's not the entire point of like living a life for God, but it's like it's not like a non-factor. Like, it's not something that's, like, completely irrelevant to the discussion. But then it kind of is, because if you're, like, gay, like, you can't, like, fucking fuck a guy, you know? Like, if you're a gay guy, like, you know, it's like you have to, like, sacrifice that for, like, your love of God. And all this shit. So it's like, so women in heteronormative marriages that don't get an orgasm, but a guy does, like, so she just has to sacrifice her sexual pleasure? The way, like, we like... Is it just like not even a discussion, you know? I don't know. I just feel like there's so much to unpack in this topic. Even in the ethics and morality of that is like, you know, because sexual pleasure does exist. So like, why? You know, like it's like, if like, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot there. I'm very interested to have a conversation about that one, about all of those random areas. And okay, well, maybe that's enough for now.